started.
Yeah. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay. All right. So when I'm saying it's about this portion of these numbers, you got to learn these numbers, and you got to get comfortable with working with it, because that's what this business is about. Because this next step we're about to go to, as far as constructing and presenting an offer, without a number, ain't nothing to present. Or as some of these new people coming into the business, they just write numbers down and hoping that it fly. They say, okay, we want 200 for this house. What's the ARV for the house? 250. Like, but how much you need to repair? I don't know, but it's $50,000. They don't know what they're talking about. So there's a lot of people attempting to do this business because they watch YouTube videos, or they sat down with the coffee with somebody, they got some kind of understanding, but they don't really understand what's all going on. So we're looking for people who need to sell, not want to sell. There's a difference. Those who need to sell, they got an issue. Those who want to sell, I'll sell it if I can, you know. So it's like us going to the store, or we at Starbucks. Do we have to have the cappuccino, you know, with espresso, with the sprinkles on top? No, but some people need coffee in the morning. They can't function without it. And so that's what we're looking for. Want to versus need to. We want to deal with people who need to sell. So, constructing, presenting offer. Two types of sellers: those that want to sell and those that need to sell. You only buy from sellers that need to sell. Did that lady need to sell that lot?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Did that guy need to sell who had all the cancer issues and going on?
Yes,
he
sir.
needed to sell. Now, do we run across people who just want to sell? Yeah, but we're looking more so for people who need to sell. Motivating seller factors: divorce, death, illness, downsizing, income loss, relocation, facing foreclosures, lien, judgment. You don't ask the person point blank, so what's your problem? What you may say is, you know, is there any situation I may need to know about, you know, or why are you selling? You know, but you say it out of concern, not so much, so what's your situation? Because they say it's always a reason why you need to sell. He's just like, so Mr. Johnson, you know, so why are you selling? You know, I see the house is in bad shape, but why are you selling? Why are you not fixing it up? You know, I don't have the money, you know, my son's in school, I'm just stressed out, I got downside. And people will tell you their problems. Mm-hmm. Why? Because people want people to feel sorry for them, or they just want somebody to hear their story. You know, they say misery love company. Not that they want you to be miserable with them, but people don't mind sharing. But you got to understand that psychology and being willing to listen. Not just like, okay, Ms. Johnson, yeah, I understand you're going through a divorce, but what you want for the house? No, that ain't how you do it.
That was just when he started.
That's how Ethan was?
Yeah, well, at first he was the person being, there was one case in particular, the investor ran out of money with the rehab, and I specialize in renovation. He was like, all right, but what's the lowest you want? Da, da, da. And the guy was telling him, oh, I ran out of money, this, da, da, da. And I was like, man, he told you his problem. You were just there like any other wholesaler, just trying to get the lowest price. You could have told him, my partner is a contractor, maybe we can go and help you like this. So you're offering a solution. Even though we couldn't help him, at least we offered him a solution like nobody else, and we got the deal. We didn't get that deal, but we got the meeting, whatever, this and that, and he got the point across. But yeah.
Yeah. Was that Mr. Footson?
Yeah, it was the one right there by
Tyler Perry Studios?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember talking about it.
Yeah. And see, but that also comes with time, and that also comes with youth. You know, when you're 19, you know, and again, it's nothing, but the thing is, we didn't know this at that time, so that's why we want you to be patient with yourself and understand what we're saying. You can't do better until you know better. You live long enough to have compassion and patience, even with my son. And I'm just sharing this again. Even though when I talk about my patience, I'm like, we haven't been over this presenting, and oh yeah, I do got him. I'm like, okay, remember he's 14 now. So I would have been saying that to myself just then. Be patient, breathe, because you here to do a class. You just trying to let him practice. I don't care if y'all bought nothing or not. I just want him to get comfortable with it and want to do it. So that's the same thing with this. I'm going to be patient with you all with this. Because this is different for you all than for him. This is life changing for you all. He don't realize what he got yet. But I understand you all want more, and I want you to have more. Because I want some people that I can play with, that I can meet you. Yeah. I can't wait to Serge call me and say, hey, come over to the pool party, like, and we got, you know, I'm gonna send the car for you, the helicopter, you know.
Yeah. Go shoot some 18 holes.
Yeah. So that's seriously, but at the same time having fun with it. I want to see you blossom. And again, last before I move on, Superstar Shine and them, they building a house so big. Did they tell you about the house they building?
Yeah, she told me about it, and because I met her in Fayetteville, and we have I just hear her talk on the phone.
Oh, okay.
And I walk to
Sir,
her. And
they building a 15,000 square foot house. I don't know what they gonna do with that house, just the two of them. Right over here for Morris Mill.
Yeah, and she told me about it, and I was like,
no,
hey,
for real.
What's she gonna do with that?
Well, they said they're gonna use it to rent it to people for the movie. To me, and I'm saying this on camera right now, I don't understand it, but they've made some great money because they like renovating houses. I don't mean little small houses. They renovate to the max. They've done renovations bigger than I've ever done, and at a premium level that, because I got the fireplaces from them that are, the electric fireplaces, the ones that you stick in the walls, but it's electric, got the crystals in it. Yeah. I went to one of their houses and I saw that and I said, man, I need to put one of them in my condo. And then I saw how they had these lights, and I mean, they do some immaculate stuff that she didn't learn from me. She learned this from me, and this is what gave her the steps and the cash to go to the fix and flip. And I taught them about fix and flip, but they took it to a whole nother level.
That's what she told me.
Yeah.
And she told me because when we spoke, and she was like, I want you to go over there, trust me, to have a skill. Because, yeah, that's what she told me. I want you to have a skill and experience, and trust me, he's a great man. He will teach you how to have a skill. And then you come back to me. I was like,
yeah, because they do something I don't do as far as their renovation. Like, they came to me and wanted me to partner with them deals, and I've done some stuff with them, but then their visions are like, they want to do these $3 million houses, and I'm like, and they wanted me to put up like $300,000. I'm like, I don't see it, but they pulled it off. But as I'm getting more seasoned, as I don't like to use the word older, my risk factor is different now. It's like, put $2 million on red. I'm like, it can go red or black. I'm like, no, I don't want to play that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But, because my son goes to, is it Woodland or Woodward? Woodland off of West Paces Ferry. Yeah, West Paces Ferry. And when we leave from over there, I went by and I saw they sign up because they got Flippin' Love. They got their big picture on it. And I drove, I think I had the picture. But nevertheless, I remember when they was pouring the foundation. And I saw how big the foundation was. I'm like, my house out in St. Ives, now we live in Buckhead. My house in St. Ives that I bought years ago when everybody was out 400, that's been leased for like the last 10 years. 2 of my houses can sit inside of the foundation, and then they going up and they talking about this pool in the back with the chairs that lay down, like like resort stuff you talk about. And they building it. This is not make believe. And I saw some of the other renovations they've done, and I'm like, that she started right here. I can show you pictures of her hanging signs with me. She got a little shorts on, little hair just running by, and you like, wow, you went from here to here in the last 5 years. I feel good that I played a part in that. But this is the foundational part that I'm talking about, knowing how to run your numbers. Because without the numbers, you can't do that. You can't make mistakes when you're talking about 300,000 and 400,000, or now, I think the house is about 3 or 4 million. And they've been doing this through the pandemic with problems going on, contract work, and they still working their way. So
you understand very well. That means when she left you, when she finished with you, yeah, she missed some other people.
No, we had already went on to those things, but she just took it and just added to it. So I told her about the renovations and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
She told me he's her mentor.
I still mentor them now.
She does. She asks him or
She still called me even when they went to go do that project. Yeah. I said the numbers work, but I'm like, listen, I've had money for some years now, a decade. I just don't see I've had a 5,000 square foot house, and that was too much for me and my wife. Again, when you talk about 10 and 15,000 square feet, just the AC and the energy bill and the landscape. See, it ain't cutting the grass no more. You got a landscaper now. See, it ain't the same grass. You just cutting it like this. You know, they got hedges. You got to put the rocks down. You got to cut this tree and that tree, and you got lighting, sprinkler system. See, people don't. And then again, when you talking about changing a light bulb, when you got 20 square feet, 20 feet ceilings, you got to get a crane to get up to the ceiling to change the light.
That's too much.
When you put a chandelier up, you ain't getting in no chair talking about hold the ladder. You got to get them to bring come over with the what you call this?
Company.
Boom lift.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the little cart that you drive it and then you can zzz, and it go on like this. But you don't drive it on the street. You got to put it on what?
On a trailer.
On a trailer. And bring it over and then take it off and then get it in the house and put the stuff down on your ceramic floor because it's heavy and make sure it don't crack your ceramic, your marble floor, I mean. Yeah, because you ain't got ceramic. Marble. It's marble.
It's got floor decor now.
Right. And then you got to go up and that's $6,000. I just had one of my associates change out his chandelier. Chandelier was $500,000. I'm like, for a chandelier? And that's when I realized I got money, but I ain't got money. You know, it's levels to this on a serious level. And it's all, but again, it's what you want to do. Just like they got the Turo cars. They got the 850. They talking about getting the G-Wagon. Last time we were together, they was like, Mr. Tycoon, I'm talking about getting the Tesla. They talking about getting the Mercedes electric, the $100,000 Mercedes electric car. And I'm like, I'm just trying to talk myself and get the Tesla because I got the Range Rover, the Porsche. I'm like, but I'm ready for an electric car because I'm tired of the maintenance. But again, part of the show, but they got like 8 different, and they got them on Truya, whatever you call it, Turo. Yeah, so they got all the bells and whistles and stuff. They living, you know. And again, I'm happy for them. But again, they also have me I got them about 20 years. So in your 30s, you can do that. When you start getting older, you're like, I don't need all that no more, you know. But I do consult with them. I'm like, okay, the numbers work. I'm like, but why? And then they say, well, we're gonna rent out to the studios and this and that. And that's perspective because I do have another associate who is doing that with their houses. Quick story. Can't say the name because I really don't want to be sharing it. But an actor who had to come to Atlanta, the studio gave him $900,000 for 3 months to live in our property. That's $300,000 a month. A-list actor. So if you got a house like that, you can get $300,000, but they're not doing that every month. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? But movies are coming to Atlanta, but that's the kind of money that's in that arena. Can you imagine $300,000 a month that the studio's paying for the movie, and this is just where the actor's supposed to stay for 3 months? Not a hotel, because they don't want to be in hotels no more. They want to be in a house, getting
everything themselves, because when they go to a hotel, they see them come out and everything.
But $300,000? And I saw the document where they were showing me, they didn't get the contract, but they got a contract for somebody for their house, which they have a nice house, but it was like $60,000 a month for this actor. That's still $180,000. But I wouldn't go build a house in possibility of getting that contract. Yes. See, that's the risk part for me.
Yeah. Especially at this age. Especially at this age with what you already paid to.
Right. And then again, you can live in it, but again, but you have to leave your house also. Like one of my other associates got a penthouse, and when they rented his penthouse, they rented the penthouse below his, because it's like 2 penthouses, and they rented because like it's one on this side and one on this side, and I think it's one on that side. But they rented that his and the other 2 because they didn't want the sound when they filming the movie from anything coming from the other houses, and they didn't want nobody using the same elevator during the time. So they rented this one, that one, and that one. I'm like, they spent a lot of money on this. But again, they kept his house for, I think it was 4 months, so he had to live, which they put him up in a hotel for 4 months, so you gotta get all your stuff. And then if they scratch stuff and stuff, they will pay for it. But everybody don't want to be uplifted out of their house and be, but I guess with $60,000 a month, you're like, I'll go away for a minute. So it is opportunities that you just can't, that don't come with this class, that there's opportunities, but you know, that's just coming about. Because 5 years ago, wasn't no movies here. You understand what I'm saying? So some opportunities just come, the basic things that I'm showing you of how to wholesale and buy and hold, that's like a next level tier talking about. That's past Airbnb. To build $1 million house and say, I'm building it so that I can rent it out. I guess it's just like resorts. Construction presenting order, get to the seller lowest price. If I offered you to close in 5 to 7 days and pay you all cash, what is the best price you can do? Now, this is once you're talking to the seller, okay? And we're gonna go back to researching of how to find those vacant houses and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, yeah, we got it. If I would offer you 5 to 7 days and close fast, what's the best you can do? No matter what that answer is, follow with, is that the best you can do? If they say they want 30,000, you always just say, is that the best you can do? Then they go like, I can do 26 then, you know, or I want 130, I may can do 125. That's $5,000 just for saying, is that the best you can do? Now, understand this just don't go with houses. You can be in the store, buying a watch, a ring, you know, a TV. There's always more a salesperson who, other than, you know, you pick something off the shelf, they can always discount something down. But first of all, in Target, my wife do it all the time. This got a little line in or a button missing. This button missing on this. Can y'all do something? Oh, we give you 20% off of this. But you gotta ask. One of my partners and former mentees in my business partner is in Columbus, Ohio right now, working with BMW. And he said, he called me the Ask Master, not Ass Master. Ask, A-S-K. Because I'm always asking for it, and I'm always practicing. I may be at McDonald's. Hey, can I try one of them lemonade things that y'all got? They're like, okay. You know, but you gotta open your mouth. Most people are afraid to talk. We're gonna get over that and quit claiming stuff. We gotta be, and again, we gotta be conscious of what we claim. Claim my greatness. Claim that I'm getting better at it. I'm not comfortable, but I'm getting better every day.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is that the best you can do? And then you shut up and you listen. Because people don't like silence. And most time as salespeople like, are you there? Are you okay? No, they heard you. Miss Johnson, I know you say you want 130, but is that the best you can do? Remember, I can close in 7 days. You letting her think. Can I? Should I? Ms. Johnson, you said you need to get your grandmother moved back to Ohio. If they've shared with you, you remind them of what the problem is. Not so much, and you hear some speakers say, dig into their pain, dig in. No, we're not. But again, it is a psychology to it, but it's to where you're comfortable. Remember, we ain't trying to hurt nobody. We're assisting to help them. No different than moms. Got that spoon or castor oil or whatever that medicine is, take nasty. Talking to the little kid. Open up, here come the plane. What's she doing? She's persuading him. Nothing wrong with persuasion. It's come back to what's your intent. Are you Jim Jones or Jesus? And what I mean by that, Jim Jones had him drink the Kool-Aid. Jesus said he's the living water. Are you here to help or harm somebody? And yes, we want to get a deal done and we want to make money. Or we can go work for a nonprofit, but I'm not a nonprofit. I like nice things, so I need to make a profit. So, suggest to call the seller, ask for them by their last name. Anytime we talk to somebody, we ask for them by their last name. It's just a thing of respect, and we'll use our first name. Tell them your name and why you're calling. If I'm calling a cold call list, or if I found a driving for dollars list, meaning that I saw this vacant house, I looked their number up, I found their number. Now when I'm calling them, I'm saying, Miss Johnson, I see your house on 123. What side of town y'all live on?
Fayetteville.
Fayetteville. What's the street out there? Just any street.
Lafayette.
Lafayette.
Yeah, Lafayette.
2131 Lafayette Street, Miss Johnson. And my name is Serge, and I just want to know if you're interested in selling. She gonna say one or two things. Well, maybe one or three things. One or two things. Yes, no, how'd you get my number? Well, Ms. Johnson, it's public records. I have a system now, you know, it's so much information out here, Ms. Johnson. If you knew everything we could find on a person, and Ms. Johnson, not trying to be funny, but I can see you live at 1698 such and such street. Huh? How you know where I live? It's public records now, Ms. Johnson. And we just being honest. We're not police or nothing like that, and we're not bill collectors. You say, Ms. Johnson, I just want to see if you want some money for that house. I'm trying to put some money in your pocket, Ms. Johnson, depending on how she respond back. Now, I can do that naturally because I've done it. But, Ms. Johnson, sometimes people be having a bad attitude. Well, how'd you get my number? Did you see a for sale sign? No, Ms. Johnson, I just happened to notice the grass was high. I saw mail hanging out the mailbox. And I'm an investor. I didn't mean to disturb you. So, Ms. Johnson, if I'm disturbing you, I apologize in advance. However, are you interested in selling? Because I still want to get that yes or no out of that. Even though you want to be ugly and all that, my objective is to what? Buy that house at a price, if open. And sometimes people be nasty or mean in the beginning, but then they start lightening up as they see that I'm not going to call you and argue with you. I'm not going to say, well, goddamn, I was just trying to see if you want to sell your house. You know, you ain't got to be all nasty. And I'm not going to get the house now. Now, I did have one student, y'all may meet her one day, Superstar D. She would be just as rude with them as they were, but she was a, what you call it? Not bill collector. Well, I guess you do call, people call people about they overdue bills and stuff like that. Collection, yeah, collection agent. She acted like she was calling homeowner like she was a collection agent. But she was good at her skill because some of her skills from that went over, like when they trying to find cars. You know what number one day they pick up cars? Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Because everybody go to their mothers on Mother's Day. And that's where they would repo cars at. So she used that Mother's Day to find people. She would find your mother and call your mother around Mother's Day to see if you want to sell your house over here. Because she figured your mother's coming to the house. Also, she would go on Facebook. See, when you go to church, you call your church and let them know you're looking to buy a house on Fayetteville Street. And the pastor's like, somebody keep calling here asking, you know, tell Sister Johnson, you know, she's trying to buy the house over there. And it worked. But she was a bulldog when she talked to people on the phone. I used to hear her on the phone talking to me like, Miss Johnson, you told me you were going to sign the contract. You said you was going to call me back and send the paperwork back. Why you ain't send the paperwork back? I'm like, and then, okay. Her name was D. Okay, D, we're going to send it back to you today. Do I need to come over there? And she would go to people's houses. Like, I don't advise that. She was one who can get away with it. She's the only student in my almost 15, 20 years of doing it that I ever seen. I'm like, but, you know, some things work for some people. I don't recommend that. I don't teach that. Always tell people you want to buy their property. You want to let them know why you call them. Because they're getting these phones, especially with this thing now. Everything is a scam call as far as telling you some insurance, travel, or alarm system for your house. How do we negotiate sales price? To be a good negotiator, you must be willing to think for yourself, challenge everything, and know when to walk away. What I mean by that, if it ain't a deal, you can't make it a deal. As one of my mentors said, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit. Ron McGreen. If it ain't, if numbers don't work, it don't work. How to complete the contract, we're gonna go through that, the power of the pen. This is our standard contract, but I'm gonna show you a one-page contract that I gave you all in your program. Let me have one of them packages. There should be a contract in there. All right, so if you just turn this one contract over, this is our one-page contract. We do have a three-page contract. You should have one in your file right there. This is y'all packet, and I'm gonna give y'all a folder for it to go in also. I'll give y'all some folders now. Oh, they are three folders. Are those folders right there empty? Grab your folder right there for y'all. I'll get you one, Will. I mean, yeah, Will. I'll get you one. That's. I know you're gonna be sitting here with it, but I got one for you.
We can ride on this one, right?
That's yours now. Now you want to listen. They almost over. Now you ready to listen. Nah, just joking. All right, Serge, you got glasses on? Okay, good. We're gonna need them. All right. So, line one, this agreement is made this day of. You put the day.
Yes.
Which the day will be, and if y'all want to test it, you can practice it right now, but June 24th, the month of, and you see 20, and I'm gonna send y'all a digital copy of this, 2023. Between seller, Miss Johnson, her social security number. Now we have that on there. Some people will give it to you, most people won't. Or you can ask for the last four, because when we go to pull title through our attorney, sometimes people have like, we just gonna use Miss Johnson, Mary Johnson. That's not like a common name. It may be 100 Mary Johnsons out there. And Mary Johnson may have some liens against her, but how do they determine if that's this Miss Johnson on Fayetteville and Miss Johnson who over in Decatur or Stone Mountain is by their social security number? No different than somebody having the same name, a junior, they distinguish it by a social security number. Buyer, either your company name or our name. Now, you may have heard people say, put and or assignee next to your name. You ever heard that? And or assignee?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, we don't need to do that because it's in our contract. And that's a rookie move also. So I don't want you to look like rookies. But again, Will and Ethan with an A. I did fill out the paperwork for you, the first contract, right? So that's what I do when I mentor with my platinum students, is help you fill out this paperwork. Then we go on to the street address. No address is that long, but that's just enough room for you if you need it. Earnest money, we only give $10. We went over there, did we give her any money?
Nope.
No, I just put $10 on the contract, but it's just a place filler. It just means that we are earnestly saying that we're gonna move forward with this deal. So you don't need to put no money there. Cash to seller at closing. That would be the difference between what our purchase price is, and we gave a lot of earnest money. I usually leave that zero new loan to seller at closing. That's when we're gonna do some owner financing, but most of our deals is gonna be cash. Purchase price, we're gonna just say $30,000. This purchase price is paid as following. Earnest money held by the closing attorney of the buyer. We're the buyer. So we're, number one, if we did have to put down $1,000 or $100, I'll say my attorney's gonna hold it, because if we have title problem, Ms. Johnson, I don't wanna give you no money and then I gotta try to fight to get it back. Do you understand, Ms. Johnson? Now also, Serge and Grace, right?
Yes.
Got it right. Did you see when I was talking to her? I said, Ms. Johnson, our attorney's gonna hold the earnest money. Watch this, Serge.
Yes.
Because, look at me, because I don't want us to have any problem, and I don't want to be trying to fight you to get the money back. So I'm doing this the whole time as I'm talking to her. See what your wife is doing when she look at me? She's shaking her head with me in agreement. It's a psychological thing that people do, because I want her to agree with me that the attorney will hold the earnest money so that we both will be safe.
Can you do that again, Mr. Tycoon? So like, pretend I'm Miss Johnson. I just want to see how you.
Yeah, Ms. Johnson, the earnest money will be held by my attorney's office so that we both can be safe, because I've been doing this business long enough to realize that sometimes I've had in the past, people, I give $1,000 and the deal don't go through, and now I'm trying to sue. I don't want to deal with that. And you either, right? You don't want to deal with that, do you? So no, we don't want to deal with a lawsuit, but we want to both be safe, right?
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's a subtle.
Yeah, it's subtle.
You know, it ain't like Miss Johnson.
You're like, Miss Johnson, you do understand. All right. So then, this is where it gets real good. Seller will pay our closing costs, line number 2. Now, 2 things here. You see how big these lines are? And when I type this on here, or if I write on here, I'm writing real large up here. Because what's really important is that number right there. That 30,000, I'm gonna write that real big. This stuff right here, I'm going through and say, okay, Ms. Johnson, you're gonna pay the closing cost, proration, impound, security deposit. There's no security deposit. Condition of the house, I'm gonna put at the end of the line, as is. At the line where it says condition, I'm gonna put as is. I'm gonna write that real big, as line is. Closing date of transfer of title, I'm gonna put 30 days from whatever the date is. So if the date was the 24th, I'm gonna put July 24th or July 30th, and I'm gonna put my, or I can put TBA, to be determined. If I don't know what attorney I'm closing with, but if you work with me, I'll have an attorney. Damage to the property, seller shall maintain property in current condition, meaning that we want the property in the same condition that we buying it. Default, number 7. So this is why you don't be concerned that you're getting the house under contract. If Serge defaults under this contract and all monies deposited by the buyer shall be retained by the seller as full liquidated damages. If seller defaults, buyer may pursue all remedies allowed by law and seller's default. Now, what happens to Serge if he default on this contract and don't close it? What did that just say? Number 7. If buyer, which is Surge, defaults under this contract, any and all money deposited by the buyer shall be retained by the seller as full liquidated damages. How much did we put down?
$10.
10.
That's the worst that can happen. So are you afraid to go write a contract now?
No.
No. See, it's in our contract. This is called like home court advantage in sports. We use our contract because our contract is written for who to win?
The house.
Us. Us to win. But you also saw if seller defaults, the buyer may pursue all remedies allowed by law. Now we don't want you to bag out the contract. And I have never yet sued anybody who has pulled out of a contract. Because if you don't want to sell and something came up, I'm on to the next deal. I don't have time to be in lawsuits. Yeah. Me. Now I have other students that I teach them how to do what they did when they put a cloud of title for a contract and they got $5,000 still. And sometimes I have done that, but as far as going forward with a full lawsuit, no. That's just me. I know people who go to lawsuits and argue with, you know, because he wants to sue McDonald's, so I know he don't mind suing. So moving on.
$6 million.
Successor and assignee. This is why you don't have to put and or assignee. The terms and conditions of this contract shall bind upon all successors, heirs, administrator, trustee, executor, and assignees of the respective parties. Meaning that I can assign this contract to whoever I want. Access, advertising, repair may be made by a seller agreed that the buyer may advertise property and have access during their reasonable hours to show property to others. If the property is vacant and in need of repair, buyer at the expense may make repairs and improvements. Any improvement shall become the property of the seller, not the buyer's default. So what that means is, Ms. Johnson, I'm gonna need to get in and out of this house to show it to my contractors or my business partners. So I'm gonna need a set of keys. It's in my contract. So now we're not concerned about Ms. Johnson having to meet us over there, or Mr. Thompson, or Mr. Goldstein. Mr. Goldstein, let me just get a set of keys. What am I gonna take the house tore up? I'm not gonna take the rats and the roaches out of the house, you know. I just need to get in so my contractor can get in, or my business partner. Mm-hmm. And the guy that I'm wholesaling the house to, he is like a business partner because I'm gonna make money, right? He gonna make money. Mm-hmm. So am I really lying? No, I may be stretching it, but I'm not gonna tell him, I'm just giving you a house under your house so I can wholesale your house, I'm gonna wholesale. No, you don't go through all that. Mm-hmm. That's what the contract is for, but I'm gonna show you all that. Next. The liability shall be limited to the property itself and shall not extend beyond. This contract constitutes the entire agreement between the purchaser and seller regarding the property and supersedes all prior discussion, negotiations, agreements, whether oral or written. So meaning that whatever is written on here, this is the final document. Whatever we talked about before, whatever you say I said, now if I had to go to court, this say, well, but you said, Will, you said, Grace. No, what does it say right here? What this contract says is what we're doing.
Yes.
So we ain't got to get into this hearsay. My whole thing is, I've learned over the years, documentation beats conversation. Mm-hmm. See, because people get this thing called selective memory. Yeah. Another way they call it is amnesia. Oh, I said that. No, what it say right here? That's all we're going to worry about. And lastly, this is intended to be a legal binding contract. If you do not understand the legal effects of any part of this contract, seek legal advice before signing. So, also, how do we ask a person to sign? Miss Grace, let me just get your okay down here. Not sign, because sign sounds so serious. So I just need your okay. They used to say, let me get your John Henry, but everybody don't know who John Henry was. And that was the Hancock, John Henry Hancock, where it showed his signature. So maybe from another country, maybe you're young. I just need your okay. And what I used to do, I have my pen, I said, I love my Mont Blanc, Ms. Johnson. I'm gonna need my Mont Blanc back because it's a very special pen to me. And I hand it to her and I'll mark right there. I just need your okay right here. And make it real simple. And I said, man, the thing is, I said, I'm gonna close within 30 days. I'll point out what I want to point out on here. I'm gonna close within 30 days and you're gonna get $30,000. That's all she care about. She don't care about all this. And this is what I tell my students. The big print given, the little print is what take it away. When you go get a loan on a house, you don't look at what the foreclosure process is. You just happy to be buying a house. But you sign so many paperwork when you buying a car, even signing up for a job. They got you signing all these documents. You just want a job. You didn't understand that they have a right to do this, they have a right to do that, they have a right to do this. Like, where was all that at? It was in all that paperwork that you didn't read. How many times we get updates on our phone and it says, update, you know, do you accept? We accept, because we want our phone to work. We don't know that they say, well, we got a right to look at all your text messages. We got a right to save your text message. Your pictures on your phone belong to us, not you. Facebook. We give so many rights away because we ain't gonna read it. And so we skim this form, not that because we try to take advantage of them, but we want to make sure we protect it. And we don't want to get into no debate. And if we ever do have something we debate about, all we do is write a line through it and write beside it and put our initial. Whatever is written supersedes even what's written on here. So if I change this 30,000 and say we're gonna change it, I scratch through the 30, put my initial, and then we change it to 35 or 25. If we say we're gonna split the closing costs, sell or pay all closing costs, we scratch through that and say we will split closing costs up to $1,500. And I put my initial beside, and that's what it is now. And this is law. I'm not a lawyer or attorney, but you can go look it up and ask attorneys and stuff. But again, I'm here for us to win. Okay. And we understand that our paperwork, that's why I said when it started out, this is paper, and the reason I went away from this 3 contracts, like this right here, seller will pay all closing costs. But it was a lot more lengthier. Sometimes when people look at three pages of a contract, they just feel like it's just too much. But all of it was in there, like wood destroying organism, proration, loss of damage, property condition. It's the same thing. This is just a shorter version of it. Because when people look at a 3-page contract, some people will get, my student feel uncomfortable. And even like right here, default of attorney fees, they used to have the initial right there beside it. But then right here, the assignment, buyers here to agree that the buyer should have the right to assign an agreement. I'm gonna give y'all a 3-page contract, but you're gonna have to, when you do it on your own, determine, is this a person gonna be uncomfortable with a 3-page contract? Some people think a 1-page contract, it ain't enough stuff in it, because they so used to sign a lot of paperwork when they selling the house. So you gotta kind of feel out, is this a 1-page person or a 3-page person? And then also, I have a selling contract, so my sale contract is just the opposite of this, what y'all gonna get. So it says when we're selling, buyer will pay closing costs. Instead where it says seller, you're just gonna change it out. And this is a Word document. And I want you all to know how to go into it and change things and make it fit for what you need it for. But as you were talking about Sean and some of my other students who doing some bigger things, they still consult me on a yearly basis. You know, they just pay a one-time fee for the year, and they can call me anytime, and I answer. No different when she called. I answered on the first call, didn't I? Yeah, a superstar. You know, that's what she paid for. She paid for me to answer the phone, to be able to answer her questions. So I think she called about something. She said, "Oh no, I need to send some people to this. I ain't got time to do this," because teaching is a very, as Ethan know, pressing. Because y'all ask a lot of questions, and I'm like, okay, but look, give me a lead, and then we can talk all the questions you want. All right. So construction present on how to close the deal, the title search. So that's when we send the paperwork over to the attorney's office. They pull a title. What is title? You may hear people talk about chain of title. That means like the house went from Will to Ethan, from Ethan to myself, from me to Gray, all throughout the history of the title. Who bought it from who bought it from them.
Like a Carfax.
Yeah. Now selling quickly, and then we're gonna go back and I'm talking about skip tracing. Selling quickly, it only works if you work it. The dream is real, right here. Determine the sale price from the wholesale property worksheet. Create marketing flyers. Marketing flyers. Now, with this portion, this has changed so much because you got groups like what we call Atlanta RIA or Georgia RIA. Then we got Craigslist. Which is up here, Facebook. Then we had Postman at one time, and these things changed so much. So now we got TikTok. TikTok was not when I made this at first. Neither was Instagram. You know, so it's so many online buyers, and now you have people from across seas that are buying properties here in the United States. A lot of Chinese people, a lot of people from
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia, Dubai. But it was a big group from I won't say Israel. I think they was Israel's Israelis or Israel, but they were buying a lot of deals. I mean, I had a whole group of them that was. I don't know if their money was just different. They didn't want to invest in their country, But they bought hundreds of properties, not just for myself, but investors. And now you got these big hedge funds that was in the stock market that are now coming into this business, and that's why we're saying that this is about to become a renters, a landlord country, because the big boys trying to buy up everything when you can't even afford to buy a house. So when you hear about Berkshire Hathaway, the banks starting to buy properties.
BlackRock.
Blackstone
Blackstone.
and BlackRock. So it's a great time to be in the business, get contract and earnest money. Now we only put down $10, but when we selling the property, we want $1,000 to $3,000 earnest money, because we don't want you to get our house on the contract and not close, and we lose our deal. So it's gonna cost you if we lose if we're not unable to close the deal. Yes.
When we're getting earnest money from the buyer, are they giving us the earnest money? Like you are the buyer, and I say I want $3,000 wired to me. Okay, not to the title company.
No.
Okay.
Now, under certain circumstances, if they insist, I will, but I still need a release from them if they don't close that. I get my release up front, because some attorneys don't like releasing the earnest money after the deal go bad, because they don't want to get sued. So I get a release from them at the time they send my earnest money.
Okay.
Now, one of the other benefits of how I do the business, because I'm in a position now, I will close the deal if the deal is good enough. And what I mean by that, say we can find this house is worth $300,000 and we able to get it for $100,000, but we can move it for $150,000. I will put it out sometime, or sometime I'll just close it within the 7 days for the $100,000, then turn around and sell it. So, because it's basically be nasty, you're gonna use Miss Johnson again. Miss Johnson, give me a contract for $100,000, right?
Yeah.
I close it. I put it out to my market, to some of my guys and girls. They get the paperwork, or they see it online on my IG page. They go contact Miss Johnson and say, you know, Mr. Tycoon got your house selling for $150,000. I know he didn't give you that. What did he get in the contract with you? So they try to go behind your back and tell her, and tell her that he trying to sell your house, cancel that contract, and I give you $120,000. Now, legally, ethically, she's not supposed to do that, because I got a contract. But now I got to go to court and all that, or try to close. So let me close it if it's a great deal, and then put it out on the market. But when you first start, you ain't got no cash or credit, right? So that's why my students partner with me, or they come to the program, because they have that benefit also, that I will put up the money myself to close the deal, because I close on it when I know it's a great deal. Now, if it's a marginal deal, we're gonna make $5,000. I'm not gonna spend $100 to make $5. So I'll take that chance, but ain't nothing really for them to backdoor us on $5,000. So these are other things that come along with the business. As you can see how along with it, it still said fax the contract over. Now we have software on our phone that we can just take a picture and turn it into a PDF, like Genius Scan or DocuSign. And these are just apps that you can use to put on your phone and take a picture of, get buyer, seller, and money to the closing, and get your check. And this is where we get into talking about a double closing versus assignment. And I think that I put a assignment, well, here's the assignment contract right here though. Assignment contract, you'll get all this in your email. This is to certify I had executed a purchase and sale agreement. Meaning that I have a purchase and sale agreement. That should be on page 104. I have a purchase and sales agreement right here. So what I'm going to do is assign, that's why I said I'm assigning this contract. Purchase sale agreement for the purchase property at 123 Peachtree. And I hereby assign said agreement to Surge for the amount of $10,000. I have collected a non-refundable deposit of $5,000 with the balance of $5,000 due at closing no later than 15 days before this contract expires. Now, why would I want to have my contract that Surge supposed to close on 15 days before this one? In case he doesn't close, I want to still have time to move this deal. Get it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Beat it, got it done.
Because this is the original contract for Miss Johnson.
Yes.
I'm actually assigning him my contract, which is in actuality, I'm selling him my spot.
Yes.
And then date, assignor, assignee is who receiving it. I'm the assignor, he's the receiving, he's the assignee. And then I send that over to my attorney, so when Ms. Johnson comes to closing, he's gonna be there instead of me. Most time I'll still be there because she's gonna be like, who is this? This is my business partner. He's the one bringing the money to the table. Which, is he bringing the money to the table? Yes. And on the back of the contract, it says assignment fee for $5,000 or $10,000, whatever this contract was stated for. That's what's called assignment. Right here, assignment. Now, double closing, we're gonna use right here, Ethan, with the A. I'm buying it from Ethan, A to B, at 12 o'clock. At 12:30, because this is very short, it's cash closings. Several pieces of documentation, the HUD statements, and then also the warranty deed to me, and then some documents for him for his taxes. Now I own it. Then at 12:30, 1 o'clock, surgeon's gonna come in, and I'm gonna sell him from the A to B. Now it's going B to C. I own it, now I'm selling it to him. But I didn't have no money. So my attorney will allow me to use what you hear him say, B to C closing, to pay for the A to B. So they're gonna wire his money. So we're gonna close at 30. I'm gonna sell the surgeon for 50. He bring in 50. They're gonna cut my check for the difference between all my closing costs between both closing. My 20, and then they're gonna wire him his 30. So they're gonna say, Mr. Ethan, we're gonna wire your money by 2:30. You know, I don't know how your banking system, how long it's gonna take. It should be the same day though. You know, because wires are like this, especially when they're taking money out your account. They can take it out immediately, but to send you money is like, it takes so much long. Like, how you can take it out so fast, but it takes you so long to send it in? So you just know the games that the bank system play.
Yep.
But that's what's called a double closing. And the reason that we're doing that is because not so much surge, but some fix and flip guy, they feel like what we're doing, this time that you spend it here and learning about contract and getting your confidence and putting up your signs and people taking your signs down, or how many people hung up on you when you called, or you texting people and they cussing you out in Texas and this and that. They don't know all the things that we go through. They just think, he just find them easy and he gonna make $20,000, but I gotta go get concrete and go to Home Depot. You chose that job. And if you notice, the people who use their brain make more than those who use their back. Because the guys who own the resorts aren't the ones out there who digging the ditches and pouring the concrete. Mm-hmm. Manual labor get paid less. Well, this is a good one right here. I ain't never said this. Than those who use their mental labor get paid more. That's not always the case, but most times, most people who own the restaurant don't work in the restaurant. Mm-hmm. Who work the hardest in the restaurant? Dishwasher and servers. Yeah. Who make the least? Dishwasher and servers. Who make the most? The chef. But who do all the work? The cooks. See, there's a difference between being a chef and the cook. The chef stay clean. He go around tasting. Then they got new names, stew chef. You know, that's a different restaurant. You know, you ain't got stew chef at McDonald's. but that's really look at that. That's why I tell people you're gonna use one of three things to become wealthy: your brain, your back, or your bank. You're gonna use your money to invest, or you're gonna use your back to do the work, or you're gonna use your brain with your bank, which I do, to do the work. You see that house over there at East still needs some little more work done, because who's trying to do the work? You. Me. That ain't what I do. I was just messing around with a house there trying to do something. I realized this shit is not for me trying to do this. I said, now I realize why I ain't did this for 25 years. And I'm talking about just little paint stuff and ceramic. Now, all I need to do now is just do the floor, mop the floors and get the ceramic clean. And I may have to get out on my knees and clean it. I'm like, man, I went and bought knee pads. I couldn't just get down. I had to go buy knee pads, some gloves, some goggles. And my wife like, you using all that?
She said, scuba diving?
Yeah.
Clean the floors.
Just clean the floors. I'm like, it's been 2 months. I ain't been over there yet. But I'm going to get finished with it. I got to get out of the house. So, That's an assignment contract. And this is when we get to the end, and I'm gonna come back to that because I need to take Serge and show him how we find these properties. Okay, let's come out of that. Boom. Question, Ethan, I see how you're looking.
Let's see here. How much was the wrap on your car?
Back then, it was like $5,000.
Yeah,
Now you can get it
that's
done for about $2,000 or $3,000. Now, let me say this. I may have got 2 deals from it, so it paid for itself, but this is the thing, that was more for marketing for my whole full brand of me being a speaker and everything, because it's just like, most people called because they were just so interested. They didn't have a house to sell.
Mm-hmm.
They just saw it, but it went along with marketing like Coca-Cola. Now, we can't market like Coca-Cola. They got commercials. Everybody knows Coca-Cola, but you want to stay brand awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm right here in Atlanta and I was teaching students, it was a cool thing for my students to see, people who want to learn from me. But as far as homeowners, remember, it's what, 2 million? Well, I don't even, the sign, they took our sign down. We used to have a sign down the street. You can look it up real quick. But that truck got to be everywhere for the person to see it. And one person who may run across me and see it, they got a house to sell. So I'm not saying it ain't not the best way for your marketing dollars, but if you got excess marketing dollars, it's a cool thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how do I pick my phone numbers? How do I customize my phone numbers?
Whoever you get your phone service from, like when I the company I use, CBSI, when I contact them, they let me know what numbers they have, and then I choose one. And then we have what's called vanity numbers, where you can look up vanity numbers, and you can buy stuff like HOUSE. But you'll want to buy something like where it's
like
like rent, like if you want to RENT. So you buy 404 555 rent.
Mm-hmm.
But that rent is a number for a sign. But then the challenge is some people are trying to look up how to spell rent on their phone. Because the number not there. So now they got to try to see what letters rent are. Okay, what number is that one? But so you got to look up under the number and see the letters.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know it's on the, they got the letters right under there.
Yeah.
I used to have a flip phone.
Yeah.
Well,
It's still on these phones.
Yeah, so this one too.
Yeah.
And last question for you. How do you guarantee that you're going to close in 7 days? It's a real quick closing. So how do you know your buyer is going to be ready, cash ready to close that?
Well, again, I can say that because I got the cash to close it. And 2, I've been in the business long enough and I got certain investors who I know can close that.
Okay.
And I said, I can close as fast as 7 days, but if something come up with a title, it ain't on me.
I got you.
And then, because it's my attorney that I'm using, so if I tell my attorney title ain't back yet, right? It ain't back yet, right? Right?
Right.
Okay. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
It's my attorney. My attorney gonna tell him what I need him to tell him.
Okay.
So I mean, for example, when you want to buy a house, let's say the closing will be the next 30 days, and the buyer do not execute those 30 days, so the money go to the seller. The earnest money, yeah,
Right.
just like that.
Right.
$10.
But it's only $10, remember?
Yeah, you just like example, we took it.
Yeah.
$10.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking in a regular life, like sometimes.
Yeah, regular life.
In regular life, yeah.
But again, we weren't taught that we can put down less money. That's what they told us as the agent.
Yeah.
Remember, because we want to see it serious, but that's why we're not buying through agents.
Yeah.
We are investing in with a homeowner. It's a whole nother world. Agents want to make sure, like if you're going to buy a $400,000 brand new house, they're going to tell you to put down 10%. Or at least 3% or whatever, $400,000. They're gonna say put down $12,000 earnest money because the builder don't want to take that house off the market, thinking you just messing around.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to. They want to be painful for you if you walk away from this deal.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we're not buying brand new houses. We in a whole nother. Not that we in a D league. We just in a whole different game.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, you want to buy old house or people who want to sell their house for maybe because they have problem. So they already have problems, so they want to get away with the house. The only thing that they matter for them at that time is money.
Right. They want to get the problem fixed, and that 12,000 again. We talk about the problem house. Even if it's a $100,000 house, I'm trying to buy your house. I'm not trying to run off on the earnest money. And so you explain that to them, because one, I'm closing so fast. It ain't, and then again, you ain't gonna get it to. It's still gonna be at the attorney's office. Yeah. Now, if I got push come to shove and it's a real issue, we'll put up the earnest money. Okay. Because we're not gonna blow the deal. And the $10 is just because we just start off. And again, because I'm not really buying it, I'm assigning my contract. It don't make a difference. But again, remember, you're just starting off in the business, and most people ain't got $3,000 to put down or $5,000 in earnest money. And one, if you don't write a check, you can't lose a check. So one of my mentors shared also, same with Ronald Grant, if you don't write a big check, you can't lose a big check. So if you don't know what you're doing, you don't need to be out here giving $1,000 earnest money. You don't know if you wrote your comp down right. You don't know if you did your estimate right. So that's why I was just saying where you rent is up, it's still up under the number.
Yeah.
All right. So all right. So this is PropStream. I can actually give you a subscription for it. So not a subscription, but give you a link to get it for 7 days. This is what we use to find drop for dollar houses. Give me one that you got. Do you have a vacant house that you had looked at, or an address, or anything like that?
Let's try another one.
Okay, let me just do this. If you got a rental house or somebody else's address that you know that you don't mind us looking at right now, I'm just gonna show you how it shows who the name is and things like that.
Yeah, let's do this address. 1255.
1255.
Quail Hunt. Quail.
Q-U-A-I-L. Q-U-A-I-L
Hunt Drive.
Okay, I see court. But it says Hunt, H-U-N-T.
Yeah, Riverdale, Georgia.
Quail Hunt. Put it in 10-5. You said 1055, right?
Yeah, we 1255.
One L, right?
Yeah, one L, yes.
Quail, H-U-N. That didn't come up, but I got a 1055. I got Quail Creek. Nope, none of that is in the line. 1055 Quail. Q-U-A-I-L, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not 1055. And see, it auto populates everything that come up all throughout the United States. Like we got a Quail in San Antonio, Oregon, Beach Valley, Charleston.
Sometimes, I'm sure you know this, Mr. Tycoon.
Oh, 12, I put 10.
Oh, you put 10.
Sometimes the property won't pull up like automatically. It won't give a suggestion, and you gotta type that whole address in.
Yeah, but there it is right there. I had the wrong number.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, because I had 10, 5, I thought you said 10, you said 12. Okay. All right. Details, Riverdale, Georgia. Okay, Anthony Hill is the owner of the property. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. He lives in the property. Mailing address is actually listed right now. He sold it back in 2020 for $210,000 for a two-car automatic garage door. That's the listing information. But I know it's more than that now because it says 700,000. I thought I saw something 700,000. Allowed 210, 272, 228, 260, 260. That's what houses are selling for over in that area now. The most recent one.
How much right now?
272.
272.
So on 8/12/22. And then, as you see, it says public record and MLS. Or we can go to this public record and see what it says in public records. Meaning that these weren't listed houses, but they sold over in the area. 228, 260. Then we can actually see this is from 6/24 to 2022, or we can go from 23, and we can go 1 from January this year, and see what the last 6 months have been like. January. 2-1. Okay, that's why that came up. Cotton Trail, something was over there for 4.7. And it said 4.2, 2,600, 1,900 square feet.
See what that house looks like.
But the thing is, now I take out multi-parcels, exclude multi-parcels, see if it go out. See, that's what that was. All right. Let me show you this app right here, this point right here. Now, sometimes people, these companies, they buy multiple properties. And so it will skew your comps. So you'll see this in here for 4.7 million. Like, oh, that house must have sold for 4.7 million. No, they bought a block of properties. That's just one of the properties in that. So that's why you see right here where it says multi-parcel sales.
Yes.
That means multiple properties have sold. It said include. So if I hit on exclude, which this little, not knowing this part is in here, you can hit exclude and watch what happened. It took it out.
Oh.
So now we know that was a multi-parcel purchase.
Oh, okay.
So like rookies, ain't nothing wrong with this. Rookies, like, oh, I need to see that house. Or they be like, because I've had some of my students call me like, Mr. Tycoon, the house over there, it's a couple over there for $1 million. I'm like, no, not over there, it's not. They're like, I'm looking at it right now. I say, okay, well look down here, hit exclude. They're like, oh, okay, all right. So we see 267, 230, and then it usually comes up, like they said, the average sale price was 741, which that's why I said that property had 10 properties, but that was including that list over there also. So we see 210, 267, and then we can go to MLS and see what MLS says by itself. 267, we see, when you see 2010, I mean, that's a rental. One did sell for Quail Hunt Drive at 1142 on 6 last month for $349. It stayed on the market 37 days. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5. I said it probably was 2,500. This was 27. The lot was 848. It was built in 2003, so it's similar.
That's a nice comp.
Yeah, so 0.17, so that's the same street.
And how much you want to?
It went for $349.
349, same street.
This year, yeah. Right here. This house right here. Let's look at it, details.
210.
347.
Same road.
You see how I go?
But this the property right here.
No, it's
347.
But again, it's something about this particular house. Let's see how it looks. Okay. And this moves, you gotta know how to move it to make it turn where you want it to go.
I don't want to go to the court side.
There it is right there. That's the property. I don't know how the one you looked at, but that's it.
That's one of the same. It's the same house. There's the same house in the same subdivision.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this one 347.
Yeah. Owner occupied.
Yeah, 347.
Lived the owner 10 months, and it just sold 347. That's Clayton. Say it wasn't distressed. But again, I don't know what they did on the inside of it. And again, that's a major difference from all the other stuff that is sold over there. So again, that's what we had to just investigate and actually go see what did they do to it. Was it really a family member that bought it or associate? They pushed the comps. Cause see, there's a lot of stuff that go on with stuff sometimes with real estate. Like they got an investor and they want to pull out $100,000, so they raise the comp. They got somebody appraised it higher, and so you want to make sure it is a sale. When I say a true sale, that is a legit sale. That it wasn't some behind the scenes stuff done on it.
Excuse me, can I step out? I want to get a charger for my
Yeah.
phone in my car.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Door open?
Yeah, crack it with something or where you get it from.
You went in front? Yeah, I want to go get my charger for my phone. Okay. Thank you.
And so that's how we started looking stuff up. It's called Prop Stream, and I'll send y'all a link for that. to be able to look at what he was talking about. How do we know numbers of houses? So if we were looking at, say, that house he just gave us, that's what one of the comps said, but that's not all the comps. That's just the highest one in that neighborhood. And then people get excited about, my house gonna sell for that. No, what did they do to it? Did they put a theater in it or something? You know, we don't see all that, what's inside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Mr. Tycoon, so this is actually something that's been on my mind for a minute.
See right here, it said the seller has spent over $80,000 in upgrading and renovation on this house since ownership. With a great floor, open kitchen, sunken family room, formal living room, dining. On the main, the house has stairs floor between the kitchen, has update LG smart thin stainless steel appliances. So they got that refrigerator in there where, you know, you can look through it, that glass refrigerator that you touch and look inside. So they did that to it. Remain with the house. Newer GL washer and dryer. There's a custom pantry door. Owner has custom built-in. Perfect entertainment. Let's see what it said. Some perfect entertainment.
Oh no, my husband, he did not put nothing on the house. Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you see what they did to this house in comparison. You got to look at all that stuff. Yeah.
How do you see, where can I find out pictures? Because if it was listed and it's sold on the MLS, obviously the realtor took pictures, right?
Most of it is inside of prop shop. We can see. You talking about the inside?
Yeah.
You can go to realtor.com. That's if they put them up there. Most of realtor.com or the when you put up the address, you'll see it inside of Zillow. They'll show you some of the pictures sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the time, but that's when you may need access to MLS.
Okay, because unless you have access to the MLS, let's say the house sold a year ago and the pictures aren't showing up, and you went onto the MLS, see the prior upgrades, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Say 2 years ago it sold and it wasn't updated. And then you can see when it was listed on the MLS what those pictures look like.
Right.
You're gonna have access for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. But remember, most of the houses that we're really looking at are jumpers anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about MLS, we, as far as those type of comps, like this right here, this was just so far above what the other comps were. That's why, but you see it in the description, it tells you.
Right.
You may not see the inside, but it just said it has LG dishwasher, touchscreen, stainless steel. Sir, we found some of the reason why that house went up because the kitchen was updated with LG smart thin stainless steel appliances. They put custom doors throughout it, LG washer and dryer. The new copper pipe installed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah, new HVAC. Throughout the home, you'll find unique custom light fixtures. The Ring doorbell and floodlights are wired in and will remain with home. With a 3rd generation thermostat. So they put some bells and whistles in there. And again, it's almost like buying a car.
Okay.
You got standard,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then you got,
custom.
they put the custom seats in it, cameras in the back, front. Yeah.
But still, it went too up. It was
$100,000.
update. Yes, it was a lot of update, but it's still going up for one because the other one was 210.
Yeah.
Yes, but the other one is 347. So almost 120.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that house was not like this one.
That house right there, I sold it to I will start with 1255 is a long story house. That's why I want to do a house.
Okay.
Let's try another one.
All right.
You want to check
Now, how long ago you sold that house?
Which one? The other one?
155, yeah.
The 155 is that what I'm saying is a long story because sorry is my baby mama.
Okay.
Yeah, she was still over there and she sold the house behind me.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I said. It's a long story house.
Right.
But
Yes.
baby, you guys stay together for like 80 years, so it's not a baby mama is
We're not going there today. I don't have my collar on today, Grace. Grace, show some grace. I love
Yeah,
that.
man.
My wife likes to watch the, and so I just probably heard it for real in real life. We went, I said, did they really be doing that? Sir, that be, all right, which one you want to look at, Serge?
I think it's 115 Long Meadow.
115 5.
Long Meadow Drive, Fayetteville, Georgia. I think it's Long Meadow. I think it's 115. Long, Long Meadow, Meadow Drive, Fayetteville, Georgia. 30.
You said 115? Because I got it wrong last time.
It's 115 here.
115 long, no?
Well, I think it's 115. It's 115. Long Meadow. You want it from me?
My phone?
Want it from me?
Yeah, but
No, I didn't.
I want to transfer
Oh,
my
yeah.
stuff.
No, the 115.
Yeah, that 115 sometimes don't pop up. Since the builder subdivision, I remember because many of the time when somebody was coming in the subdivision, we was given the neighbor address like 110. The 110 Long Meadow Drive was coming up, but 115 was not coming up since the builder subdivision. I don't know why. Yeah, it looked like they never updated that address.
Okay, maybe I was wrong because I didn't scroll down. Let's see if it's. No, maybe wrong. But this is one of the tools that we use, and we have another one called batch leads, and let me show you what batch leads is real quick. And this is what we skip trace with, but then also another one that I like to use is called Home Snap, not Home Snap, but I want to show you batch leads first. Will, any questions?
No, sir.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I have the website? How do you put it? Can I have are you going to send us the website to the mail, or I need to write it down myself now?
What bell? Email?
Yeah, the email, or I need to write down the website myself now.
No, I'm gonna send all that in the email, like batch leads and PropStream, and I'm gonna send you also PropStream, the app that I use, and then we're gonna discuss about the coaching later on another day.
Okay.
You let me know y'all wanna sit down and we can discuss the coaching, different packages that I have that Sean and them came through. And we're gonna talk right now about. I just want to show you some of the other tools,
Okay.
and again to get your paperwork to you also.
Okay.
All right, this is batch lead. This is what I use to do my text marketing, and this is one of the more simpler ways to get leads, but at the same time,
Mr. Tycoon, what's your opinion on tattoos? Would you say they're unprofessional?
I don't have any, but no, I mean, it's widely acceptable now. I wouldn't put it on my face if I was.
Obviously that, yeah, but like
No.
for a businessman with tattoos, because you don't often see millionaires, billionaires with tattoos.
Nah, I wouldn't say it. I mean, not today's time, but again, my son wanted a tattoo. I told him, you can get one when you're 18. But, you know, you got athletes that got them, they millionaires, you got a lot of celebrities.
Businessmen.
But again, when you say old school and new school businessman, these considered Andrew Tate a businessman?
Yeah.
He got tattoos. And that's the only reason I'm saying that, because now even Damon John got tattoos. But you don't see them out right here. They got them on their arms or on their legs. So again, you still got to be you, but again, is it going to help? No different than me putting on a suit. I could have came in here like this, with, you know, just a shirt on. But again, if I'm teaching, I prefer to put on a suit. I like wearing suits anyway, but that's me. But do you have to wear a suit today? No. Then also, I speak real. What you can get away with, maybe I can't get away with. You understand what I'm saying? Because of color. I'm gonna get, this is the fact. We go in the same jewelry store. They're gonna treat you different than they treat me. That's just the realness of life. And see, that's what I just talk about, the real. Now, do I think you should have a tattoo on your neck if you're sitting down with a client? But if they need a need, they don't care. You got doctors that got tattoos now. I was at the doctor's office, and I saw a doctor walking around. It shocked me. Half his hair was cut off, and he had a nose ring. I didn't think you would see a doctor with a nose ring or hair cut off on the side of his head today.
Maybe he was just playing dress up.
No,
but
no. I'm just saying, that society has changed. I think that's, you like that? That's the cleanest. Clean ain't gonna never go nowhere. Clean cut. But at the same time, we live in a world now that we got more. This a whole long time. We got more shit that's accepted today that I never thought that would be accepted in our society.
Me too.
Okay. Your jewelry store, what would you call it, analogy? Do you believe that they'll treat you different if you came in with a suit? You know,
I've done it. I've done it.
And they still treat you different?
Yeah. See, and that's something that, again, I hate to use this word, and we're going to close this subject, not because it's off limit for me to discuss, because it's not just within real estate, because, again, we got to deal within this subject matter. I got another associate, he was asking, do you think it's such thing as white privilege? I say, because you asked me, and he is white, you don't understand it. You'll never understand what me and Serge will feel like if police got behind us and we get pulled over.
Correct.
We think it's something different. Even though we may not be doing nothing wrong, it's a difference. And you would never understand that. And it's okay.
Exactly. I'll never experience that.
Right,
so.
right. Because y'all will ask, why are you pulling me over?
God damn it.
Yeah, what's your badge number? We don't do that. Because we're going to get a different result. And it's not bad or good. I mean, you can't say it's bad. But it is what it is, so ain't no use to be whining about it.
Okay.
And that's what I just try to bridge the gap, but you'll never understand that.
And that's fine.
Yeah, but as far as tattoos, I mean, it's acceptable in our society now. It usually wasn't. Me and my wife were watching something, and it was an African American sister with a kind of a hard afro on, and she was a representative, a councilwoman, a state representative. But at one time, they didn't want us braiding our hair. So you can't. There's certain things we're not going to agree upon. But this business, and as I said, this is why it's great that we can cross paths. That if I run across somebody who has a problem with dealing with African American, I can call you, hey, Ethan or Will. Yeah, and Will being from Cuba. It's stuff that he in certain countries or certain places gonna get different because he is Cuban. Or they might not know me Cuban, but tell him he Cuban, like, oh, you a communist, you a refugee. You're a refugee. Yeah. Did you come over on the boat?
Banana boat.
Yeah. And see, he laughed about it, but that's just the thing. But back to this, but yeah, we can discuss all those things.
Most definitely. That's a whole argument then.
No, ain't no argument, it's just what's real.
For me, it's not an argument, it's a discussion.
Yeah.
That can go on for damn near hours.
Yeah, and my whole point is,
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, but my whole point when people want to debate this and that, okay, like what's the point? Where are we going with this?
Right.
You know, but as far as I I personally don't care for tattoos, but I don't. My change on that, because I never thought we'd see people. You know, you saw movies with guys with tattoos all on their face. You thought that was just gonna be the movies, and now it's a reality.
Oh yeah, everyone wants to get.
You know, my
people in
son.
my high school that have tattoos on their face.
My son has had a school. I never thought I would hear this. He has a male teacher, white guy, full hair, but wears a dress and they got called him Mr. Wilson.
Are you serious?
Miss Wilson.
He got one of those. Oh shit.
There's no way. Are you serious?
And what I mean by this, his face looks just like yours. He don't have. It's not like he wear makeup, but he look like a man with a face, but he got a dress on and don't wear lipstick, but wear earrings. And I'm like, this is a public school that's up here in Buckhead, and he was in the 7th, 8th grade. I'm like, you gotta try to figure this out right now in school, and now we talking about LBG. I mean, did you ever think every time I went to I had get my physical, and they say, well, are you married? I said, yes. To a man or woman? I said, a woman. They say, do you have sex with men? I said, no. I said, I told you I'm married to a woman. And it's just all these different questions that's part of the questioning now, just part of the fundamentals.
Wow.
Or how do you want to be addressed, Mr. Shakur? Well, first of all, they said, Shakur, do you want, or do you how do you
identify yourself?
Yeah, how do you identify yourself?
The man.
I don't know. That's just something that I'm not okay with.
Okay, but again, I'm just talking about what is in our society today. And we can have all our different opinions, but my whole thing is, I'm just saying, I never thought that how do I want to be identified?
Right.
Or one of my associates work for Delta, and I'm close right here. She's a flight attendant, and she said, on flights now, they can say, Miss, you in the seat. Miss, would you like a Coke or a snack? They got to ask you, would you like a Coke or snack? Or can't say, sir, would you like a Coke? They can't say sir, or they can't use, what do you call them?
A man, gender.
Gender references, because they don't know how you want to be referenced.
I have that issue through school. I was thinking he was a man. He was a man, and I realized she was a lady. And she get frustrated, and I get into trouble. But because I did not notice that she have breasts. I did not notice. I did not mean to offend.
Yeah, I understand. But that's the world we live in. Everybody want to be offended. Everybody want to find a problem with something. No different than I was watching WLBA last night before as I was just finishing up with this, and they kept talking about the hockey team. Guys in the hockey team, they warm up jersey when they come out to warm up. That some of the teams wanted them to represent Pride Week, and they're like, but I'm not in the Pride, so why do I gotta go out here with this jersey on if I'm not pushing that agenda? And they said about the NFL, the WNBA, NFL said they're not gonna make guys participate in LBG activities. I'm just like, why is this such a big thing? But let's get some money, and but we can have this conversation over some coffee and stuff. I mean, I don't have a problem, but I'm not here to press anybody. I just say it like this: you can do what you want, but it's against the law of nature. If everybody became homosexual, we would cease to exist. So that shows me science says it, but my wife got a girlfriend whose daughter just not so much came out, but we always saw it, but we still care about her,
Yeah,
she was a pretty girl, but again. I'm just like, why is this agenda just so pushed down people's throat all the time? But hey, that's what they doing. I'm trying to find me a deal.
Yeah,
how can I find another deal? So yes, I will get that batch lead stuff to you. Let me cut this off. Cut off and hand it to me. I was trying to think of the app.
Battery low.
Okay. The app that I was trying to get about skip tracing is Genius scan, and some of my phone real quick. That's why I got a charger right here.